Hello there guys and welcome back, Harry here, and today I've decided I want to try and do something a little bit different because I have a lot of albums. I mean, all these albums behind me, it's about 200 and something, which is crazy, and I just want to review quite a lot of it. So from now on, I'm thinking about doing a 3-part review, where I review 3 albums in one go. It means I can talk about an album enough so I can cover it, but I don't have to worry about doing a whole video. So, with that in mind, the first album we're looking at is the 3rd album of Mumford & Sons, Wilder Mind. Now, this outfit from the UK are very famous in the sort of folk genre. They released the album Sigh No More with Little Lion Man and The Cave, and they released their 2nd album, Babel, had the very famous hit song I Will Wait, as well as quite a lot of songs that I liked. But for this album, they kind of changed up their style a little bit. They basically removed all their banjos and all their original sound, and instead picked up electric guitars, become a sort of alternative rock band, and it's kind of split the fan base. And for me, I luckily fall on the side of loving it and actually really liking Mumford & Sons doing something a little bit different. Inside, you've got a fantastic load of tracks. Starting off with Believe, the big hit, got on the charts. It's pretty good, not my favourite on here, but I do like it. The chorus is catchy, I can sing along to it. You've still got Marcus Mumford singing out front and sounding fantastic as always. It's a brilliant song. My personal favourite is Tompkins Square Park, which is this 5-minute big long song at the beginning of the album, and it's a really interesting one to start it off. It's quite emotional and powerful and it makes you think. I really do love it. It's honestly an amazing song and one that I've listened to countless times. Another one of my favourites is Wilder Mind, which is a fantastic song in its own right. Nothing particularly special about it, just really enjoyable. As well as that, you've got songs like Broad Shouldered Beasts and Cold Arms, Only Love, which are far more rooted to Mumford & Sons' original style. So if you like their old folk sound, then you'll probably like this a bit more. It's just without those banjos. Personally, I really like Broad Shouldered Beast. It's probably one of my favourites on the album. I'm not so keen on Cold Arms and Only Love. I just can't remember the tune of them. Until I hear them, I just can't remember them, and I kind of think it's a bit weak, seeing as most of the songs on this album I can literally recite. But overall, this is a fantastic album. Don't listen to what the critics are saying, because they just haven't really caught on to the new sort of sound. A lot of these reviewers have kind of picked up on the electric guitar sound and instead kind of ignored what's actually on the album and instead just based it on the Mumford & Sons they know compared to the one they have now, because they can't deal with change. It's a really good album. It's got a few weak spots in it, but I would still probably give it a 3.5 out of 4, if not even a 4 out of 4. It's a fun album. I've enjoyed it a lot, listened to it a bunch of times and I haven't got bored of it yet, so it's pretty damn good. Next up, we have Pacific Air's album, Stop Talking. Now, Pacific Air, formerly known as Coco, I believe, are a indie band from America. This was very successful. The band released an EP, which had a few of the songs from this album on it, called Long Live Coco. It was released to very positive feedback from critics and music fans alike. And the album, whilst it's not going to change history, it's still a fantastic album in its own right. Discovered it through my Play It Forward list on Spotify, where Spotify recommended me a bunch of songs to listen to throughout 2015 that they reckoned I'd like, and they were pretty much right. You've got songs on here like Float, which is the big seller. You have ones like Move, Roses, Suits, Play Nice, are all just fantastic tunes. Classic for the beach, got that sort of summer vibe, very sort of relaxing, chill sort of sound to them. Personally, my favourite on here is Duet in B Minor. It's the one that I feel is the underdog of the album. I honestly think it's probably one of the best on here. As well as that, ones like Sunshine, Intermission, and Far Away are also really lovely songs. Honestly, this album is a joy to listen to. I mean, the only weakness I probably have is the song So Strange at the end, which does this weird one line of auto-tune, and it kind of kills the vibe of the whole album, which throughout the whole thing's got very high-pitched, very relaxing, sort of soft vocals from the lead singer, and instead, on this one, we get this weird auto-tune, which is something that a lot of indie bands seem to do. I mean, one of the ones that really comes to mind for me is Fun, and Some Nights and some of their other songs on that album. I don't know what it is about the auto-tune thing. When you have an artist who can sing particularly well, like Nate Ruess, I don't really understand why they go for the auto-tune thing. But for that reason, I'd probably give Pacific Air's album a 3 out of 4. I think that the final song's kind of a letdown, especially for being the last song you remember. But the rest of it is really enjoyable stuff. Some are better than others, but for the most part, a strong indie album. Not going to change the future, but it's certainly an enjoyable thing to listen to. And finally, judge me if you like, we're talking about Justin Bieber's new album, Purpose. It honestly just blew up. I mean, Justin Bieber before, if you didn't know who he was, you'd be living under a rock. He's obviously this star who attracted a lot of negative attention. A lot of people really disliked him with Baby and Boyfriend, plus getting arrested and going mad and urinating in a bucket, spitting on fans, being late for concerts. This guy hasn't had the best history in the world, and in this album he tried to kind of rebrand himself, and after Jack U's album Skrillex and Diplo present Jack U with the absolute banger Where Are You Now, it was quite clear that Justin Bieber had kind of changed his sound, changed his maturity, and as a result honestly made a far more credible musician. And this album, which is produced by a whole range of artists, best known being Skrillex, is honestly a really strong album, with tracks like What Do You Mean and Sorry both getting #1 in the UK and doing insanely well across the world. Justin Bieber's really come back and not only made a really good track that's a good one for the clubs, but it's also enjoyable to listen to. It's got sort of trap, sort of dance sort of influence, which is very different to his normal stuff. But you've also got other songs in there like Love Yourself featuring Ed Sheeran and Purpose, which kind of mix it up a little bit with the piano and the guitar, honestly making some really nice, clear moments in the album. Not every single song is a best hitter. I mean, there's some here that just feel a bit forgettable, like Company, Life Is Worth Living. The featuring artists, for the most part, are pretty good. I quite like Halsey in The Feeling. Badlands thought it was a pretty decent album. I also really like Ed Sheeran in Love Yourself, but I'm not so keen on No Pressure and No Sense featuring Big Sean and Travis Scott respectively. It's just not really my type of thing, especially the latter. But overall, this is a really strong album. It's got some weird bits in it, as a sort of weird speech at the end of Purpose. It's certainly a far more producer-based album. Like, if it wasn't for the producers, this would be nowhere near as good. Justin Bieber is not the glue that sticks it all together here. Instead, you don't really need to have Justin Bieber to have the good tracks, because you've got people like Skrillex who honestly make such fantastic music, and Justin Bieber's voice is kind of just a vocal, which is a bit of a problem, but it's a really enjoyable album. There's no point of faulting it for that. I mean, Justin Bieber, I have respect for him for this album. It was far, far better than his previous stuff, and it's made me kind of look at him now as actually a reasonable artist, hence why I bought his album. Overall, I give Justin Bieber's album Purpose probably a 2.5 out of 4, maybe stretching on to the 3. It's a good album, but like I said, very producer based, not so much about Justin Bieber, and I do feel like there's some tracks in here which are going to be absolute belters that you're going to remember and you're going to keep on singing and dancing to, like ones like Sorry, which is definitely the best song on the album. But at the same time, you're going to get a few ones that are just a bit rough and honestly won't really make any sort of scratch on you, like Life Is Worth Living, which just feels incredibly bland to me and very, very forgettable. Definitely an album worth checking out, because I think that people need to start realising in 2015 we don't have the same Bieber we had back then, and instead we need to listen to this guy because he can actually make some decent music. So there you have it, guys. There are 3 albums reviewed. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to try and stick with this content a bit, like trying to keep this sort of level with my album reviews. I think the 3-piece thing works quite well, and I will still review Years and Years Communion. I haven't got around to it yet because I'm still trying to find what to say. It's actually proved a lot harder than I thought in the first place. But it will be coming soon, and I will be doing some more gaming content and vlogging as soon as I can get stuff working. Technology's been a bit of a pain, stuff getting up in my personal life. I won't go into detail here though, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.